guys. So Shannon Lawrence, take it away. Shannon Lawrence, hello?
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking away. Welcome, everyone. My name is Shannon Martin Roebuck. I'm Executive Director of Bridging Impact, and my co-host extraordinaire is Lawrence Minnis, who is Learning and Development Director at Humane Rescue Alliance, and he's also a doctoral candidate in psychology at George Mason University. Lawrence, would you like to give us a brief introduction about the importance of today's topic?
Lawrence, you're muted. And I don't know why, because it doesn't look like you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
We sure can. Thank you.
I got you. Thank you. Well, today we're going to be talking about disability inclusion, but we're also be talking about human-animal interaction and the impact of some of the programming that we can facilitate at shelters and rescues, and how they can serve some of our community members, especially community members with disabilities, and how we can make sure they're brought into our organizations and possibly have an impact on our organization, on their trajectory in life, as well as our community as a whole.
Great. Thank you so much. We're going to do our question of the day now. And that question is, if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? And I think I would tell my younger self to relax and enjoy life more, spend time with people you love, and don't let your career or your work take up too much space in your self-identity. How about you, Lawrence?
Well, that was fantastic, Shannon. I would probably tell my younger self to expect the unexpected and plan, understand, or knowing or expecting the changes that will come.
Mm-hmm. I see someone else has shared to have confidence and adventures. Yes, that's important. Be flexible. That's always important. Follow your heart. Love that. Making mistakes are part of learning. Absolutely. Don't be consumed with what others think. More travel. Have a purpose. These are great. Please continue tossing those thoughts into the chat while we move on. We're going to do national updates now. Oh, no, I'm sorry. First, we're going to do grant winner updates.
Hi, Shannon and Lawrence. Thank you for that fun question. I would say wear sunscreen. I would tell my younger self that wear sunscreen and moisturize your neck, because when you're 40, you're going to want that. But let me go ahead and share my screen, and I will announce the winners from last month. All right. Can everybody see my PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Wait, that's not what I was doing. Sorry, let's do this actually. Sorry, everyone. Here it is. Okay, so this is our January 2024 prize winners. And first we have two $2,500 winners for the weekly community conversations drawing. And the first one is Claudia, live from Your Humane Society SPCA in Florida. Claudia, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Hey, Claudia, congratulations. How are you today?
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for this. Things have been so tight this past year. We're shaving so much off of every bit of our budgets that this gave a little breathing room, and we really appreciate the opportunity to be eligible to get something like that that's unrestricted.
Well, we're happy to help, Claudia, and we know you're going to do great things with your organization to keep pets and people together. So thank you for joining us, and congratulations again. And I'm going to see who your co-winner on this grant was. And it's another Claudia. I know, right? Good names in animal welfare. So we've got Claudia Padilla from the Happy Bunny Project in Texas. Claudia Padilla, are you on the call?
Hi, yes, I am.
Oh, and Claudia, you brought a bunny friend, it looks like.
Yeah, this is Freddie. This is our new little intake. So thank you so much. We're so excited. We're a domestic rabbit rescue in Houston, and we are working hard to open a shelter for these guys in a sanctuary. And so excited. This guy will go into some wellness and neutered soon so he can be adopted, but he's very sweet. And we're also excited that this will help us with some of our programs for we're going to be taking these guys to like hospitals and doing animal therapy with these guys.
Oh, well, I know everybody's going to be so excited to see him. Freddie and your friends are so cute. Well, congratulations to both the Claudias. We so appreciate you joining us for the calls. And I have one more exciting winner to announce today, and that is for Maddie's Pet Forum. We have one winner for the $3,000 grant for January as well. And that is April King from, I believe it's Cotter Kitties in Washington. April, are you on the call?
Hi. Yes, I
I was
am.
gonna say, I thought I saw you earlier. Congratulations, April.
Yeah, it's Coder Kitties.
Cotter
and
Kitties, I'm sorry.
We are a spay neuter program for cats. And so this grant will allow about 80 to 85 cats to be spayed and neutered.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, April.
Oh, thank you guys so much. We're very excited for this.
Oh, well, congratulations to our winners, and thank you all for joining us. Irene's going to pop the links in the chat so you can have a chance to win as well. But April and both Claudias, thank you again, and congratulations to you and your organizations. Then I'll turn it back over to Lawrence and Shannon. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber, and congratulations on the winners. So next we will switch over to national updates. And if we have someone here, representative from UC Davis, I think you have something to share with the group.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Not only for providing this platform to share, but for making possible the Learniverse, on which we are hosting a 2-day solution sharing summit focused on getting animals back where they belong. If you're a regular on these calls, you've probably already heard about our upcoming Return to Home Summit. But real quick, 2 half days focused all on return to home interventions, both before and after shelter intake. 20 of your shelter colleagues sharing their RTH programs and learnings. And the summit's geared for every level of workforce on your team, and it's completely free, thanks to Maddie's. And I'll just end by saying a big goal of this gathering is to create that immersive space that gets our juices flowing like when we're away at conference, but making that a little bit more inclusive and allowing every person in your staff to participate that and riff off of ideas that they heard. So that works when we invite our teammates. So please be sure to share so that you can use this as an opportunity to audit your own programs and get some new ideas for ones going forward. We hope to see you all there, and we'll drop the details in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. If anyone else has something to share, please feel free to unmute yourself, or you can drop it in the chat.
Actually, Allison here from Maddie's Fund. And I would like to remind people that we have another Maddie's Insights research webcast coming up this Thursday. And what it's research you can use. And we are highlighting Dr. Lisa Gunter, who will talk about the influence of field trip and sleepover programs on shelter dog welfare. So I'll drop the link in the chat. I hope you can join us this Thursday. Remember that it is always recorded. So if you can't be there, register anyway, and we'll give you the link to the recording.
Thank you, Allison. Any others have something they'd like to share as part of the updates? Right, then I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers today. First, we have Lawrence Minnis, who is Learning and Development Director at Humane Rescue Alliance and doctoral candidate in psychology at George Mason University. After he speaks, we're going to hear from Alex Levine Clardy, Director of Development with APA Missouri. So I will let the two of you go ahead and get started. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, everyone, for all of your input and your feedback on our question of the day. And remember to please continue to put everything into the chat. And what I will do briefly is just share my screen. All right. So.
Looks great.
All right. So today, for the portion that I'll be covering is just to highlight the importance of human animal interaction and things that and how that may be a part of the programming that you consider when you're trying to take a inclusive look at programming and reaching out to those within the community. And again, for those persons in your community with disabilities, because there are awesome opportunities that come along with the animals that we have in our shelters and rescues. And I want to do this by highlighting a shelter program that I'm very familiar with and by telling a little story. All right. So the story, now, one second. There we go. Now, I want to prompt this with the fact that the story is going to be somewhat surprising. It is centered on myself, but I don't want you to get tied into some of the dynamics of the story. It may be surprising. You may have sympathy. You may have empathy. You may just be sort of profoundly dumbfounded at some of the circumstances that were going on. But I kind of want to push you through some of the emotional responses that you have into a place of motivation, because through that motivation is where we can take steps to engage our community members to be inclusive and to really look at how our programming, what currently exists and what can exist, can be extended to communities that we might not have touched on yet. And we'll give an example when Alex is able to talk about programming that she and her organization have engaged in. So I want to start with back in 2007 with this story that during this time I was active duty and deployed in Iraq. And this photo was taken in November of 2007. And I want to show it to highlight the fact that, well, here you can see I'm actually competing in one of the track meets that we had. And I actually won this event. It was through the discus, and I was able to win it and get a medal before I went back to our deployment duties. So I was fully capable, functioning, doing everything that I needed to do during my deployment. But a month later, my circumstances changed. I came down with a infection in my brainstem that actually caused me not to be able to see completely straight. I lost the ability to walk, to maneuver anything. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't even talk clearly. And the doctors themselves were kind of confused because they didn't know what it was. They looked at it as a stroke, and it wasn't a stroke. They said it was maybe Guillain-Barré. Wasn't that. They went through a number of things, but they couldn't identify it. And so here, what you see is me when after I was flown back out of Iraq into Germany, and you see my lovely wife sitting with me. And I had just gotten back into Germany from the war zone. And so after a couple of weeks and spending my Christmas of 2007 at Ramstein in Germany, I spent New Year's Eve in a C-17 flying back with my wife and my then 3-month-old son. And this is me holding him here, sort of strapped in because again, I was unsteady and couldn't keep balance. But this is us kind of celebrating New Year's Day of 2008, flying into DC, where I ended up at Walter Reed Hospital. And that is where I really want to get the premise of the story. All of that sounds crazy. It sounds dramatic. It sounds, again, sort of shocking and inspiring. But this is just the start, because in that period, I was going through my rehabilitation. I was going through all of the various treatments. And I found out about a program with the then Washington Humane Society at their shelter, which was directly across the street from Walter Reed. And the program was for rehabilitating service members to be able to come across the street twice a week to learn about dog training, to learn about animal behavior, and to learn positive reinforcement, to learn about nutrition of animals, caretaking, and to be set to start a dog training business if we ended up outside of the service. And I love that aspect. It was really a program that was just starting. I was one of the first three members to take part in the program, and it lasted 6 months, where we would go and engage with all the shelter animals that were there. So we trained dogs that were awaiting adoption, and we went through, and it was a fantastic opportunity because I got to engage with animals, which pushed me in my rehabilitation. It got me from thinking of myself to thinking about trying to help the animals, which again pushed my physical abilities, it pushed my mental abilities, and that human animal interaction was very, very. It did a great job of supporting my recovery. And we fast forward from there. Months later, I went through the 6 months of the program, and I just continued to volunteer for the other iterations that they did with service members following my completion of the program. I would go over with the dogs that I adopted from the shelter and would help show and encourage those service members who were going through various states of trauma and recovery, to learn the same things and explore the same benefits that I did. And so here you see me about to lead one of the training classes with my two dogs, Ebony and Nina. And I'll let you guess which one Ebony is. But that experience actually shaped everything that happened from 2008 on. It's the reason why I'm now a part of the Humane Rescue Alliance, which includes the Washington Humane Society. So that shelter program really shaped the trajectory of the rest of my life. And that's 16 now, going on 17 years ago. And so that's why I want to really highlight the importance of the funding that Maddie's is providing and the opportunities, but also just organizations being open and willing to explore different opportunities, different paths of engagement with those that are in their surrounding communities, those that may be people with disabilities or different conditions that may benefit greatly from human animal interaction. I mean, that is something that was profound, and the trajectory and the impact that it had on my life was not a part of the initial planning. Me being back with the organization 16 years later may not have been a part of the initial planning, but it just shows the grandeur of the impact that shelter programming and sheltered animals can have with those within our communities. Here you see the other two participants that were in the program with me, and dealing with, again, their various conditions, but they're not focused on themselves. They were focused on the animals and the dogs and learning. And so they were able to go from the challenges that they faced personally to see something that pushed them past maybe their physical or mental capacities. And it really, really was engaging for all of us. Now, that program specifically was a great one that I am hopefully in position to restart, given Walter Reed's movement. But it's something that motivates me in my current work, and it should motivate a lot of different organizations, because it doesn't have to be in that same format. You have outreach to a number of members of community members and stakeholders that are in nearby areas. I mean, you have an example here are reading programs, and there's a ton of research in psychology and education that really hits on the impact of human animal interaction and its ability to improve performance across the board, especially those that may be dealing with conditions such as the autism spectrum disorder, or those with ADHD, or those with any other conditions that may seem like a barrier to them and their development. But when they engage with animals, they are able to tap into spaces that actually promote their performance and give them opportunities and create paths for them to go through their lives, similar to how it was able to change the trajectory of mine. And so I want you to, each of you, to look at your organization and consider exploring a number of opportunities that are available. And you can do them through humane education, internships, community partnerships, through your direct recruitment for HR and bringing folks in, especially volunteers as well, or through simple outreach for adoptions and foster. All of these can be domains that wrap up into your approach for disability inclusion, and they can be expressly impactful. They can change the trajectory of the lives of your community members in larger ways than you may have ever anticipated. So you may find someone that you engage with over the course of 2024 or 2025 that in another 14 or 15 years is back with your organization trying to promote some of those same initiatives, helping the animals and impacting the community as well. So just to give an example of what type of programming and outreach can occur and is occurring, I would like to bring Alex on board for discussion to talk about the programming that's been occurring at the Animal Protective Association in Missouri.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. I kind of wish, I would have gone first, because my story is just not going to be as impactful as that. But at least I can give an example of what we have done with one of our initiatives with our sensory friendly bags. So let me just share my slideshow real quick. I am not the most technically savvy, but it did work when I was doing it. So hold on one moment. All right. So as Lawrence said, my name is Alex. I'm with the Animal Protective Association of Missouri. I am their development director, so I am not in charge of this program, but I can definitely talk about it and the wonderful gift that Maddie's Fund granted to us with our Open Arms Challenge and made this an opportunity. So today I'm going to talk about sensory-friendly bags for neurodivergent adults and children that adopt or come to the APA for various activities or events. I have to share my munchkin. This is my munchkin, Ruthie Rosemary, because I haven't met a lot of you, and a lot of you have very cute pets on your background, so I had to have my time to shine too. And again, my name is Alex Levine Clardy, and my pronouns are she, her. So This is really, really simple. So I just wanted to have a few objectives so that you know what you're going to be going away with. I just wanted to explain our commitment to DEI so that you can identify how your organizations are also focusing on your DEI. The certification process that we experience and the ease of it and how easy it is to implement into your shelters or your foster-based rescues. Implementation at our shelter specifically, and then any questions and answers you have. And I know that you will be able to message me outside of that. So if you don't think of a question until later, I would be happy to make myself available for you to learn about our experience and for you to also adapt this at your shelters. So this is our founder, Ella Megginson, but I just, she's an amazing woman, but that photo doesn't necessarily make her look like she's very happy, but she is incredible. She did such great work. And, following Ella's legacy, we really do strive to create an inclusive, diverse, and equitable workplace for all our employees, any volunteers, community members, the people that come in and adopt. We like to keep our barriers very low and continue to identify any barriers that we still have in place so that everybody can have a pet go into their home. We know across the country, animal welfare, we're still working together to identify how to become a more diverse workforce and also, again, be able to put more pets into loving homes. And so many of us are working to change that. And so I appreciate Maddie's list and Lawrence inviting us to talk about, again, our experience, because we all have to learn from each other. And I think the big thing that I would like to say is the APA's work is intentional and continually ongoing. This is not perfect. We are continuing to grow as an organization and continuing to learn as we do. This is never going to be an ending. We'll never perfect this. This will be completely ongoing. And so we are very intentional when we are meeting as a DEI committee and identifying what intersectional populations we have not yet identified to try to bring them in. So that is where our sensory friendly bags, that became a priority. So our amazing Humane education director took this upon herself. She had been experiencing with her Tuesday Tales, which I'll go into that on the next slide, which is a program that we have. And some of the kids that were participating in that were, we were finding were on the autism scale. And so we wanted to make sure that we were addressing any needs for the kids so that any kid could be able to come with their family and enjoy the Tuesday Tales that we were able to do with them on a weekly basis. So she found this amazing website. It's called Culture City. And I believe Lawrence might be putting that link in the chat, but I can give it to you. It's very easy, www.culturecity.org/sensory bags. The requirements are so low and easy. They make it so easy for an organization to participate and to become accredited. So their minimum requirement, which was not our minimum, we made sure it was 75% of our staff, but it is a minimum requirement of 50% of your staff to complete the training. And they give you all of the materials in order to do the training. It's about a 30-minute webinar, and then you take a test at the end. So it doesn't take as much time. It's just got to be the commitment of your staff to make sure that this is becoming a priority for your organization. With that, they also they provide you an app. So we are on a Culture City app. So if any neurodivergent kiddos or adults use this app to see what organizations or businesses or hotels or whatever it is, that they are able to go in and know that they will be able to have a safe space and be able to feel comfortable in that space, we've been included on that. So that's wonderful. That's, extra branding, but it also just shows parents or adults that are neurodivergent that this is a safe space and we want you to come and adopt from the APA, and we will make sure that we make this a calm and comfortable space so that you do feel comfortable. Their annual commitment is very reasonable, and I know that there are different levels of organizations that are on this call. Thank you to Maddie's Fund and the Open Arms Challenge. In order to get this program started, it is a $500 commitment, and then going forward, it's $250 annually. So, while I know that can be a large amount of money for some shelters, there are grantors such as Maddie's Fund that this is a priority for them. So I would suggest that that's worth exploring. And then what they give you a bag. So Culture City sets you up for success, not only for that 30-minute training, which is very informative and very intense. In that 30, you learn a lot, but that's wonderful for all the staff. And, they give you the bags and signage. They are just incredible and make it very easy for organizations to be able to bring this in and make it a safe space. So the things that are included in their bags are a lanyard, and you'll see the card that they can use to describe how they're feeling, and they can point or however that works for them. There is noise canceling headphones, of course. They include fidget toys, and a card with the QR code that takes them to Culture City's websites. They also provide signage for the shelter or said brick and mortar. We have strategically placed it in several areas in our shelter. So when we were thinking about, again, how to best utilize this came out of Tuesday Tales. So, what programs have been into. But again, Culture City just made it so easy. They gave us the signs. We had to decide where we were going to put them. And for the APA, it was at the very front. When people come in, they are able to see this and see that they can ask for these bags. It's in one of our specific meet and greet rooms where people can go in and it's quiet, and we can do quiet adoptions or quiet visits. And so you're not in the middle of all the hustle and bustle at our shelters. Our adoption desk, it is right there. So if somebody is, needing some headphones or needing a safe space, then the front desk knows where all of that is and can direct them to that. And then, of course, our dog kennels, which are the loudest place or the loudest room in our shelters. So that's one of the main places that we have the sign, because we've identified that that's one of the most overwhelming areas, even for non-neurodivergent humans. So it's, all of that barking is quite a lot, and it's, loud and can take away from the experience when you're trying to find your new family member. So as I mentioned before, this stemmed from Tuesday Tales and parents wanting, a different Tuesday Tales that went towards their neurodivergent kiddos. So we have Tuesday Tales once a week, but now we have it still every single month is our sensory friendly Tuesday Tales. This goes from ages 2 to 5. And so it's very exciting, and the parents get to sign up, and it's a really fun experience. And the kids are having the exact same experience. They're getting to do a craft. They're getting to read a book. They're getting to play with the pets. And so we're just, making it more structured so that they feel better in that space and want to be part of the story time. We also have implemented it with our APA summer camps. So while we don't have a sensory friendly specific week of our summer camps, we communicate with the parents and make sure that if the kids have any special requirements, then we can fulfill those. And so we have had kids that, of course, had want to participate in summer camp, but they just need those headphones or whatever it might be to make sure that they're feeling comfortable and getting out of summer camp what all the other campers are getting. And then I touched on it before, the sensory friendly adoption process. One of our meet and greet rooms is designated as a quiet space for those adopters to be able to meet the pets, but also that is where we handle the adoption process as well. So it is, again, not in the middle of the hustle and bustle, so that people are uncomfortable and aren't able to, be excited about the new family member they're just about to bring home. So I know that was quite a lot in a short amount of time, and we're just an example of an organization that Maddie's Fund has supported and was obviously helpful with Lawrence's overall message. We want to make this, again, easy for you and help you get this implemented into your shelter if this is a priority for you. So I am here for questions. I can provide any, experience that we've had and how easy it's been for us, because we would love to, again, see this happen in more shelters around the country.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are these bags in the Spanish language?
So to my knowledge, they do not, but Thank you for asking that, because APA, that is one of our main priorities this year. And so we have, our entire website has been translated into Spanish. So now we are working on our signage. And so that will be one of our next things, our internal signage. But that is an excellent question. I actually, I would like to find that out myself, because that will determine if we are making our own signs that are reflective of their branding, or if they do provide that. And I think that would be a great suggestion for them.
And what about the classes for the training? Would they consider giving the training in Spanish also, or only in English?
You know, we have not, that was not something that we investigated prior. So let me, will you please direct message me so that I can get your email and I can find out the information?
How do I direct message you?
Oh, actually, so here is my contact information that might have been helpful. So my email is alex@apamo.org. And my direct line is there as well. Any other questions as of now? Okay, well, thank you guys for listening. Thanks for allowing us to share our experience. And I hope to hear from some of you so that I can put you in that direction.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex, for sharing.
Thank you, Lawrence.
This is a fantastic program. I'm learning a lot because I wasn't aware of all of this programming that was already there that just needed to have a partnership with the shelters. So this may be something that we look into including at our programming in our shelter as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lawrence. Yeah, it's really amazing how easy they make it, because I think we all know we have so much work all the time. And so we want to make it to where we can do it. It's not taking away from other work, and it's just adding to our work. So thank you for making that point, Lawrence.
No problem. Well, again, this is fantastic programming, and these are the type of things that the type of initiatives and things that can go on with your rescue or your shelter that does make an impact. And it may not take a robust fundraising initiative to drive it. And there may be resources out there already existing that you can tap into. A programming like this for the neurodivergent community in Missouri, in the local area, is fantastic. And in fact, it's something that I'm exploring within in DC, trying to look into workforce development and tying that to some organizations that support our residents with neurodivergent that are neurodivergent or have any other conditions that help them go on different paths. And so again, I encourage everyone to begin to brainstorm, begin to think about the opportunities that may exist through programming like Culture City and what Alex has shared. But you can look into different schools, different community programs that support our human residents, and try to see how we can make that connection to facilitate that human animal interaction. Because once we do that, we encourage all of our community members to blossom and then get wrapped up in the same type of mission that we are already engaged in, is helping our community and helping those animals. But we make sure it's a synergistic effort and not just choosing one side or the other, not choosing animals over humans and humans over animals, but choosing humans and animals and making sure that we're all looped in together.
Thank you for bringing that back around, Lawrence. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Does anyone else have any more questions for our presenters today?
Thank you so much. I'm very amazed by all this wonderful information. I even have butterflies in my stomach.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm glad that you were able to take away from this. And there are other organizations that are already exploring that. And since we have a little bit of time, and if we don't have a lot of other questions, would anyone from other organizations who are also looking to pursue initiatives in diversity, inclusion, and outreach within their communities, please feel free to unmute and share what you are doing or what you are planning to do or intending to do in the near future, and in that same regard.
If I may, Lawrence, Alex, and the hosts, this is Claudia again from Your Humane Society in Central Florida. I misunderstood Irene's question, so I apologize, Irene, when I said no. I thought it was about Lawrence's program, but what we did in our Open Arms Challenge this past year, and we're going to expound on it to the next level, we hope, is working with connecting to the students of a nearby college, Beacon College in Leesburg, who offers associate's and bachelor's degrees to those with IDD, intellectually developmental disabilities. And they study zoological programs, they study shelter programs, veterinary care, etc. So it's all in the animal welfare and animal professional fields. And so they come and visit different shelters or zoos, etc., each month, each week, and we're part of that, their curriculum. And so we've welcomed them back. We were doing this before COVID, and then we found in the challenge how it fit. So what we're going to do is we're re-inviting them, and we're also going to expand on Best Buddies. Best Buddies International is the organization where they have, excuse me, it's an organization that helps with those, again, with IDD, but in our heavily based retirement aged community here in Central Florida, we have Best Buddies, a club that opened under that organization. And the seniors that live in that retirement community are all members because their children are the ones with the IDD. And so they are trying to find ways to have them interact, as well as find future benefits to the quality of their life once these senior aged parents pass away. And so they want their children to, gain confidence and self-sufficiency into the community. And they're all young adults right now, in their 20s and 30s, and some in their 40s, while their parents are in their 70s and 80s. And so the club allowed us to introduce ourselves to them last year in our Open Arms Challenge, and they were taking it to the next level this year, where we're hoping that they will. I've spoken already to the club leadership, and they're looking at helping them gain confidence by interacting and engaging with the community, to have them all host, let's say, a pet supply drive for our shelter. But they have to coordinate all the different locations they're going to be out, promote the literature, gather things through each other as team members, let's say. They're going to look at helping with creating crafts for maybe a special event we're going to be doing, and they'll be creating centerpieces with themes, or we're going to have them be fostering animals as well, and just keep building on the level of participation with us. So we're hoping to see where that can go.
Lawrence, I would like to share, I'm Bob Tubbs in Williamsburg. Last spring, we had 400 kids, second graders, drawing pictures and writing bios on behalf of shelter pets for the region's shelters. There was about 8 or 10 shelters participating. So we were doing it a class at a time, 20 to 5 kids. We would assign them an animal. They would draw a picture of the animal. They would second grade language it. It was a written argument course for them in a second grade structure with a second grade teacher. So we had 400 kids over the course of a 10-week period, roughly 15 classes. We placed 140 animals as a result of their efforts, because, with social media and stuff like that, the kids were just doing some wonderful stuff. I'm going to put a link here in this, in the chat so you can see a Facebook page. Our local Busch Gardens got wind of this and declared May 11th an Animal Welfare Day, and invited all 400 kids and their families free of charge to spend the day. The kids did a little play. The Attorney General came down and he deputized all 400 kids and their families to be animal advocates for the state of Virginia. So I'll put that all in the link, but we're trying to put I'm putting together an infrastructure so that a website can technically enable this. People can sign up for it. Second grade teachers, schools can sign up for it. Sponsors can sign up to take the animal pictures that are drawn by the kids and hang them up in their retail outlets and stuff like that. The shelters can hang it on the runs of the cats and dogs of what the kids draw. It really turned into something. And then PetSmart donated stuffed animals, and so we gave all the kids a real nice stuffed animal as a remembrance. They set up a hall of fame in each of the schools. Every day the kids were coming in to see if their animal got adopted or not. It was and this was all the brainchild of a teacher in Richmond who was featured on ABC World News a year ago, October. But I'll put that all in the link to the Facebook page in the chat. But we're trying to put the technical infrastructure in place so it'd be real easy for anybody anywhere to do this. And it's interesting you mentioned Maddie's Fund, because we might talk to them about maybe trying to underwrite some of just the technical development, the website, so that this can happen. So.
Well, thank you for sharing. I mean, I think this brief conversation, this brief discussion today has shown that there are already organizations out doing some of this work, and I think we can use the time after this call, especially on Maddie's Pet Forum, to sort of share ideas or share activities. And I call on each one of you to read through and see what other organizations are doing, and then look into your own communities and see what organizations you could potentially reach out to and partner with to take a step and have that impact on those that may be residents with disabilities in your local communities, whether they're adults or kids. Animals, especially shelter animals, provide a huge benefit. So we don't need to rely on therapy animals or service animals to have an impact on some of those within our communities. We can use the animals that are already present at our shelters and rescues, and that will have long-lasting impacts on the quality of life for all of our residents. So I highly encourage you after this to, again, participate in the forum, and then take notes and reach out to those that may have programming that interests you or may be available for you to have in your community, and then take steps to reach out to your community. So this time later this year or next year, we'll have a call where everybody is speaking up and sharing all of the different programs that they've enacted and the impacts that have gone on within their respective communities.
Thank you, Lawrence and Alex. I invite everyone to please continue this great conversation, or even visit and participate in other conversations on Maddie's Pet Forum, and join us again next week on February 12th for our next community conversation. Thank you all and have a great day.
All right.